Welcome to the Leaders in Payments podcast, where we talk to C-level leaders from across the payments landscape. We'll be discussing the products and services that impact the payment space today, as well as trends and predictions for the future of payments. We will also hear stories from our guests about their journeys to the top.
So simply put, on-demand pay, or wage access as it's often referred to, it enables employees to access or save their pay as they earn it, right? And without having to wait for that traditional payday. It's certainly not a loan, right? It's the money they've earned. The way it actually operates, the mechanics of it is, think of DailyPay as a benefit. It's a benefit that employers want to offer to their folks that work for them. And it's really enabled by, first and foremost, the ability for us to connect into these employers' timekeeping, payroll, time and attendance systems.
That was Gino Palozzi, the CMO of DailyPay, and he's my special guest on this episode 255 of the Leaders in Payments podcast. And I'm your host, Greg Myers. This is the first episode in our series on financial inclusion. Every year, we dedicate several episodes to highlight what leading companies in our industry are doing to help serve the unbanked and underbanked. Gino and I talk about the on-demand pay solutions that DailyPay offers to employers and employees. We also talk about the benefits to both the employers and the employees. We go on to discuss how employees can take advantage of these programs to get paid what they deserve when they earn it, which often keeps them away from predatory lenders and also allows them to increase their financial well-being. We've got a great episode ahead, so let's get started. Hi, Gino. Thank you for being here and welcome to the Leaders in Payments podcast, and especially this special episode during Financial Inclusion Month. So thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's dive right in. If you don't mind, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, maybe your professional and personal background.
Sure. I joined DailyPay just about 6-7 months ago, the CMO of the company. And, my background really was historically in larger organizations where I was leading marketing, whether it was at IBM, Cisco. And this is an opportunity to kind of do something different in my career. And I was really looking forward and excited about the opportunity to kind of make a difference, right? To drive change within these big organizations and to do something that I'm really a strong believer in.
Okay. Let's talk about the company now. Let's talk about DailyPay. So tell us what DailyPay does.
At its essence, we're reimagining the way money moves, right? From the moment work starts. And what I mean by that is we're really partnering with some of the America's leading companies, right? And connecting into their payroll and time and attendance systems, right? And their human capital management systems to provide employees with this real-time view and access to their pay as they earn it, right? It's a platform that gives users that real-time visibility into their balance and their funds as they work their way throughout that pay period, right? And we've seen DailyPay users, right, who often have been, in many cases, reliant on either credit or overdraft, really be able to set aside their hard-earned money now, right? So it's an opportunity to not just give them visibility and control over it, but to kind of get out of this cycle of debt and challenges that many of us have faced at different points in our lives.
Okay. And how would you define on-demand pay, or I think more commonly known as earned wage access? How do you specifically define that?
So simply put, on-demand pay, or wage access as it's often referred to, it enables employees to access or save their pay as they earn it, right? And without having to wait for that traditional payday. It's certainly not a loan, right? It's the money they've earned. The way it actually operates, the mechanics of it is, think of DailyPay as a benefit. It's a benefit that employers want to offer to their folks that work for them. And it's really enabled by, first and foremost, the ability for us to connect into these employers' timekeeping, payroll, time and attendance systems. It's able to accurately, because of that connection, offer users access only to the money that they've earned, right? Which is really important, right? That allows them to have that peace of mind that they're not advancing money. It's not a loan. It's money that they've earned. And the systems and the connections that we offer are certainly enabling that. It's positioned, and as it should be, as a benefit to their employees, that this is an option and an opportunity for them to get to the money or see the money that is available to them. And they want to see how much money they've made so far in a pay cycle often. They do often go in, look at that, and they'll want to access that money sometimes. And if they do want to access their money, they do have 3 options, right? The first is a no-fee transfer option to any account that typically takes 1 to 3 business days to clear. The second is another no instant fee. There's no fee, no instant transfer, where they're using the Friday by DailyPay card. This is a general purpose reloadable card that allows those DailyPay users to access to their earned wages at no fee, right? As long as they update their direct deposit to that Friday card. And the third, right, is the instant transfer to any account. That's typically $3.49. And think of that as a ATM fee. That connections that we're providing is somewhat unique in the market because at that point, it's certainly not a loan. It's certainly not an advancement. It's the money these people have earned. And we're just giving them that ability and the rails to kind of go and see that information and to access it as they see fit.
Okay. And obviously there are benefits to the employers and there's benefits to the employees. Let's talk about the benefits to the employers first. So why does a company want or need this kind of on-demand pay program?
It's helping employers in many ways, right? In today's day and age, employers need to offer flexibility, meaningful benefits to attract and retain talent, right? And still what is considered is still a tight labor market for many industries. Our data shows that DailyPay has an incredible positive impact on hiring and retention. The average tenure for employees who use DailyPay is shown to increase by 35% over non-DailyPay users. And DailyPay also keeps their employers happier, right? More engaged, more productive. 48% of our users say they're more motivated to remain with their employers because they offer that DailyPay benefit. And 52% have said because of DailyPay, they have a more positive opinion of their employer. So that's certainly something we're proud of. And certainly the clients that we speak to have seen and the data shows it.
Sure, absolutely. Were there certain industries or segments or verticals, whatever you want to call them, where these types of programs are a better fit?
We like to think everyone should have the option of earned wage access, but our clients do span a number of industries. Certain ones in particular find it very attractive and appealing, including retail, restaurants, hospitals, healthcare, grocers and supermarkets. In many of the top the country's top employers have partnered with us, right? Including companies like Target, Hilton, Kroger, Dick's Sporting Goods. 7 of the top 10 fast food restaurants use DailyPay. So it spans many industries, but as you can imagine, we believe that this is the future. This is something that isn't necessarily limited to certain industries. And as people start seeing that this becomes the status quo and the norm, we're going to see more and more industries and more companies within those industries pick it up and adopt this as kind of the norm.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. Well, we discussed the employer side, so let's discuss the employee side. So can you talk about the benefits to the employees?
From an employee perspective, it empowers those users, those folks with the choice and control over their earned pay. It gives them that kind of freedom and that, what I say, peace of mind that they can pay their bills, spend, or even save and invest on their own schedule, right? Not constrained by this arbitrary payday that we've all kind of grown up in. It's really important to understand that we did a study, I believe, and it was conducted by IT Novarica Group, and it showed that 95% of those folks who were previously relying on payday loans either stopped using those payday loans or reduced their use, right? And users don't just get out of that cycle of relying on credit or relying on payday loans. I think this whole concept of having that control and visibility where they're checking on average their balance like once a day. And that indicates that hourly workers and earned wage earners are looking for heightened transparency around how much they're making. It's really interesting to watch that phenomenon too, because they enjoy seeing their earnings grow in real time. It's almost like a gamification, but it's giving them essentially that peace of mind that the money is there, they've earned it, and they can use it as they need it or see fit.
Okay. We've talked a little bit about this, but this is Financial Inclusion Month, and I think part of the goal of this podcast series is to highlight companies like DailyPay that are doing things to help with the challenge. It's a global challenge, but with the challenge of financial inclusion and financial wellness. So what are companies doing? They adopt this DailyPay concept or on-demand pay, and they have to get that out to their employees. What do they do to promote the financial inclusion aspect, like the financial wellness? Do they provide classes, or what is it that they do for their employees to help promote the financial wellness aspect of this?
Yeah, I think part of the benefit is not just the access and the visibility. We also offer things like free financial advice and counseling, right? And we do that through a really interesting group that's helping us to kind of bring together the insights that these folks need to understand. How do they save? How do they invest? And that service is offered as a perk, if you will, of the benefit. So it's often leaned into and it's shared. Not everybody takes advantage of it. We'd like to see more people take advantage of it, but it's those types of perks that we talk about, and we make sure that people understand that access is one thing, but having that understanding of how do they actually improve that. And what we're seeing is when companies put this out on the table, they put it out there like any other benefit and they communicate it during enrollment periods. But we want to partner with them to make sure that they understand the full breadth of what this is enabling them to do. So we do work with those clients, and we do things through traditional communications through the client on behalf of the client to help them communicate the benefits and the flexibility that this provides. So as you could imagine, standard things like on their benefits pages, communicating on their behalf often, right, for the clients that we support. What is available? How does it work? Why does this help them? And then some of those other perks that I talked about that are also there to make sure that they know that this isn't about just getting your money and spending it. It's about understanding and that control that you have and what you can do with it. And one of the things that we introduced, I believe, last year was the save functionality, which we're seeing people take advantage of, which is now you don't only have access to pay your bills, but you can actually invest or save your money before payday, right? And we're seeing some of that pick up, and in communicating those types of benefits is really important to set aside that money, to understand that how do you manage that cash flow? We don't always believe that people use the service because they have an urgent need. It is the case sometimes, and that's fine. But there's other things that you can be doing, right? And there's other things that you can learn about, and making that part of the communications up front when the benefit is offered in partnership with the client is really important to us. And we continue to find ways to communicate that, add and enhance the things that we offer within the app to kind of go further than just giving you access, but helping you understand how to best stretch those dollars, invest those dollars, and save that hard-earned money is really part and parcel with everything that we communicate, from the point that we start with a company through the ongoing partnership to drive awareness of that and hopefully adoption as more and more clients see the benefits of it and more users want to take us up on that.
Yeah, and one of the areas that has come to light, at least for me, and having done, I think this is the third year we've done this series, is the unbanked and underbanked reliance on the payday loan industry and that predatory lending space. And obviously, this can help with that. So do you see or hear stories or have knowledge of maybe people who are in that underserved or underbanked community seeking out companies that offer this type of benefit because they know it can help them stay away from those types of things?
Yeah, 100%. I think that, we see DailyPay as a payday loan killer. We don't believe that that is a model that is effective or something that we encourage. And we want to give people options, right? So when we start looking at the stats of how people have actually been able to get off of that cycle of debt and cycle of leveraging those types of things, it makes us very happy and proud as an organization. And I think the data I mentioned already is pretty clear. I think 9 out of 10 have said that they've been able to reduce or significantly reduce the use of that. And when I say, and most of that is, I think 81% of that 95-ish percent number, 81% have stopped altogether, and 15% or so have actually reduced their usage and reliance on that. That in itself makes us proud, and it's really our mission is to help people go to mechanisms that they deserve, right? And this is their money, right? This is not a loan, and this should never be the option, the first choice of what you need to do, right, is to go to one of those routes. This gives them that freedom and that option to really take back control of the money they've earned and get out of that bad cycle of relying on credit, relying on payday loans. And it's certainly a big message and benefit that employers want too, because people that are under financial stress often have to take on another job, or they definitely are distracted, or they're not as productive, right? When you can relieve that stress as an employer, they benefit as well, right? And that's one of the benefits that I believe kind of is certainly one that is going to be what we want to really hang our hat on here, which is there's a better way, there's a new way. Why do we have to rely on this 2-week payday? It's your money. It's your earned wages. Why rely on a unscrupulous or very financially difficult situation where you get yourself tied into a payday loan, which is exorbitant rates and whatnot. This gets you out of that and gives you another choice. And we're really proud of that.
Yeah, and I would assume that the reloadable card and having money going directly to that, I would imagine is for those who maybe don't have a checking account, right, is a huge advantage.
For those folks, there are many people, surprisingly still, that are either underbanked or unbanked. And this gives them the option in the Friday card, this reloadable cash card, gives them that choice of where they can send their money and frees up and reduces the friction of where they can move their money quickly. Not just move their money, but to then use it and freely spend it as they need and see fit. So I think it's really helped in many ways for people to say, I don't have a direct deposit option. This does now give them that option, like they need often to say, where am I going to send my money? How do I get my money there quickly? And then gives them that kind of reduce the friction and allows them to spend it freely, right? As they need it on the things that they need when they need to spend it. So yeah, we're really excited to help open up a whole new area of opportunity for people that might not have some of the same options and banking choices to say, I don't have a direct deposit option, but now I do. I have a way to move my money and use it as I see fit, when I need it, how I need it. So yeah, we're really excited about that as well.
I love the fact that these employees have options. You give them those 3 options you mentioned earlier. I love the transparency of it, them being able to see their balances and all of that. So, there's obviously a lot of value in this, but with anything like this comes some misconceptions. So can you talk about maybe what are some of the misconceptions in this space and then what you guys are doing to overcome them?
Yeah, I think the biggest is we are not alone, right? We are not a bank, right? We're just helping to move that money more freely, right? From the employer to the employee. It's not a lending or credit product, right? And it has none of those characteristics or attributes of a loan. And that's still something that we communicate and have to make sure people understand, right? From the employers to the employees who decide to sign up. We don't conduct things like credit checks. We don't report back to credit agencies. So all these things that have some negative connotations or fears, we just have to eliminate that and communicate that this is really the mechanism for you to get to your money that you've earned. And we're just there on behalf of your employer to make that money accessible to you. It also is important to think about how we extend that. It's not just earned wage access, right? We're delivering to our clients, right, the data-driven strategies that they're looking for to help them hire and retain. So it's beyond just get your people access to their pay. That's really important. And I think that's benefits that we all can recognize and see. But we also offer products like the coaching that I mentioned, right, and counseling. Millions of DailyPay users. And that's run by a veteran-run coordinated assistant network. So we're trying to do good, and we're trying to offer things that not everyone has access to. So that advising and coaching is really something that we want to say sets us apart. And they don't realize that it's not just access. It's like more. It's more benefits. It's more valuable to their people to think about, how do I get access and how do I use it in an effective way to meet my goals, to not only meet my needs, but my wants and ideally their dreams, which it might seem a little extreme, but it's not, right? Because at the end of the day, when you start managing your cash flows and your money better, you start opening up opportunities that might not have been there when you don't have access to those types of things. And the other feature I think, I talked about, but this auto save feature is really important too. Again, not just access to your money so you can use it. Many people can start actually saving. And why wait to save? If I've earned my money, how do you have the mechanism to set your money aside? Pay yourself first, if you will. And it allows them to not just save, but to automatically save a certain portion of their money as it starts being earned. These are all things that we want to communicate and say, this is what sets us apart. We're really advocating for the employees at the heart of it. And we want them to not just free themselves of those payday loans and the challenges that they present, but to start thinking differently about their pay, right? And expect things differently, because as they change their behavior, as we help facilitate access and insights into how to use it and how they can be setting aside money or saving money, it gives them even additional more freedom, if you will, to do the things that they need, they want, and they hope to achieve.
I love that save aspect as well. So what's on the horizon? What's next for this on-demand pay space?
Yeah, I think as we think forward here, our vision is ultimately to make on-demand pay the status quo. It should be the default way that people are paid. We're really trying to bring earned wage access everywhere instead of making it a choice or an option that some companies offer, that it just should be expected, right? It's something that we would like to say, why stick to this arbitrary 2-week payday when there's a better way? If you've earned it, why shouldn't you have access to it? And that's going to take some time, but we're starting to see these big companies and clients come on board with us. And I think that ultimately is where we want to go, is to make this something that isn't just, should we do it? Why are you not doing it? Because I think the employees that work hard and help these companies achieve things, they deserve that. They deserve to have this as an option. And that's something that we're working and committed to making happen. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the prospects of this becoming more and more widely accepted. And we're starting to see that come to fruition a little bit with some of the regulations that have been out there, right? That have been discussed, right? We're seeing Nevada, we're seeing Missouri pass regulations that are making this more controlled, and we welcome that. We actually embrace regulation coming because I think there's a way that we want to operate and the way we believe earned wage access needs to proceed. And that regulation is only going to support our vision of making this a trusted, secure, effective way that should become the norm and not the exception.
Right. Well, Gino, we've covered a lot of ground already. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up the show?
I'm excited to work for a company that has such a big altruistic vision of what we want to do to change pay for good, which is a little bit of a tagline as a marketer, but I think it's really something that we live and breathe as an organization. And I'm excited about how we as a company, DailyPay, has really created this market. Now we want to move it forward in a positive direction, right? And we're committed to that. And we continue to do things that I'm excited to be a part of. And we're, as a company, putting our heads down and helping kind of work with our clients, work with the employees, listen to them, and continue to move this in a very positive direction. And I'm excited to kind of continue this journey and see where this goes and see how we can take this and make this even more meaningful for the people that have entrusted us to help them get access to their pay that they've earned. So other than where we're heading, the sky's the limit. And we, like I said, just want to reinforce our commitment. At the end of the day, we advocate for the employees and the benefits that we can help to bring to the table for the clients who entrust us to offer that benefit. So that's where we're heading, and I'm excited to be a small part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a great summary to wrap up the show. So, Gino, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know your time is very valuable, so I really appreciate you being here.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, and we're really looking forward to kind of continuing the dialogue with you and others in the industry as this continues to evolve into a really positive thing for everybody.
Great. Well, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
And to all you listeners out there, I thank you for your time as well. And until the next story.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Leaders in Payments podcast. Make sure you visit our website at leadersinpayments.com, where you can subscribe to the show and where you'll find our show notes. If you enjoyed listening, please share on your social channels as well.